Hello, friends. Welcome or welcome back to Budgeting Over 40. I'm Melissa, and we are here to wrap up our spending for January 2025. We're going to do a monthly budget closeout, you guys. So let's jump in. All right. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. We are going to talk about what happened with our money in the first month of the new year. So there's a few things to note before we jump in. Is that January was our magic month. Both hubby and I received 3 paychecks in the month of January. Then I did get paid out my bonus money for working holidays in 2024. That's just how my job pays out for the holidays work in the previous year. We do get a lump sum in the first month of the new year. So let's just see how things went with the income. So we are in YNAB. This is the reflect section, and I'm going to jump over into the income versus the expect section before breaking down the spending. So all the income sources are listed here. The first one up is cash rewards. Now, this is rewards that, for the most part, I credited back to our accounts. So Chase gave back $12.99 in cash rewards. This was applied to the balance of the card. And then I had a few from Capital One number two. And this card is used to purchase our heating oil for the house. So whatever cash back I gained from swiping that card to pay for the heating oil, I then went ahead and applied it to the balance. But this one here is upside for $12.21. This was sent over into my inflow account and that was used in the budget. Next line item up is $42.69 from Daily Cash. Now, Daily Cash is an account that is associated with my Apple Card. I did open a Apple High Yield Savings account. This is not the first time I'm mentioning this. Every time I use my Apple Card, and the Apple Card is my primary use card, every time I swipe that card, I do get cash back. It is then transferred into this savings account and it just sits there and build unless I pull it out to whether it is transfer it over to my bank account or apply it to the balance of the Apple Card. So $42.69 was what I earned in January. Now, next up here is hubby. Like I said, we had 3 pay periods in the month of January. He sent over $3,830 to our account. Now, 3 of these is for the household budget. So 1,000, 1,000, and another 1,000 is the money that he sent over to pay the bills in the house. But then I usually do purchase things for hubby throughout the month using my personal accounts, and then he reimburses me. So there's $530 here, and then there's another $300 here that was transferred just to pay back what I bought for him in January. Then there is monthly interest that was earned on all our accounts, $1.72. So this came into the Apple High Yield Savings account, the bills account, a Credit Karma savings account that I have, the inflow account, the primary account, and then there is a savings account that I have some sinking funds in. So $1.72. Now, next is my paycheck. So in the month of January, I earned $12,393.43. So there are 3 pay periods, like I said, for the magic month. I did label them: one of 26, two of 26, and three of 26. And as you can see, they're all the same amount for $2,377.97. And then the bonus money that came in was $5,259.52. The last one that's up is the SSI benefit that comes in every month. We did get an increase in 2025. There's a slight cost of living increase. Now we're at $1,375.50 per month. And this will not change until we get to 2026. So the total income that we're working with, or inflow into the accounts, or into the budget, I should say, in YNAB is $17,686.65. All right, so let's talk about the expenses. We're going to look at it from the spend and breakdown view because I like this picture better. So I'm just going to click on groups and we're going to talk about them. So total that was spent in expenses, as in shown here in YNAB, is $11,638.38. Now, before I go any further, I will say a little bit more was spent, but I will explain when we get there. So the first category, or the biggest category that was spent in, was our home expenses. So out of this $11,000, we spent $4,491.16 in home expenses. The biggest one was for rent for $2,500, then heating oil, you guys. So we got slammed with heating oil. We spent a total of $1,283.16. Yes, you guys, that's how much that was spent because we got heating oil 3 times in the month of January. So the first one came at the end of December, actually, but when they did charge the car, they charged it in January. So I just considered that as a January payment. And then we had to get 2 more oil deliveries that was paid for in January. Next is cell phone for $256.28. Propane was a bill that I had in December that was paid in January. The delivery was in December. We paid $211.98 for propane. Electric came in at 107. Internet came in at $88.99. And renter's insurance came in at $43.75. Now I can say that is 39% of the money spent. Now, this section here, the debt section, it's saying there is 24% of what was spent in January for a total of $2,807.36. Now, what this is showing here is just Lending Club for $1,059.22, my auto loan for $939.23, Upgrade for $629.14, credit card interest that was paid in January $139.77, and $40 for student loan. Now, what I can tell you that even though it's showing a total of $2,807.36, can you see that none of the credit cards was shown as paid in this section? And it really doesn't even show it to you in the groups. So I don't have a credit card group here because YNAB, for some reason, is not showing it. So I'm going to jump over to Google Sheets and I'm going to show you guys what actually happened with our debts. So like I said, $2,807.36 is what's being shown as paid for debt. But let's look at Google Sheets. So as you can see here, I have the debt section on my Google Sheets budget spreadsheet. The credit card minimums that was paid in the month of January, $264 even. So this is $67 for my Mattress Firm card, $46 was the minimum payment for Chase, 101 was the minimum payment for Capital One number 2, and $50 is the minimum payment for my Apple Card. Those were paid in the month of January. Here's the student loan for 40. Here's the auto loan for $939 and 23 cents. Here are the 2 personal loan for $629.14 and $1,059 and 22 cents. But I did make extra debt payment of $1,673 and 94 cents. Now that comprised of the credit card interest that was paid. There was $67.94 for my Capital One number 2 card, $41.88 for my Apple Card, $29.95 for my Chase card, and then because I paid off Chase, the total amount that was used to pay off Chase was $1,534.17. So, total debt for January should have been $4,605.53. That's the actual number out of what I made in January that went to debt. All right, so let's move on. The next expense is food, and food got a little bit out of control because we needed to stock up on a few different things. We spent $1,311.53. The biggest category was the groceries or consumables. Now this is $1,238.45. I did only budget to spend $1,000, but because I've combined all of our consumables and or food together, that's why I think we spent a little bit more than I had budgeted for. Dining out was $66.16 and snacks was $6.92. So I did budget for dining out to be $150, so you could see where the balance of that money went into the groceries. Now, this total is 11% of what was spent. Next category up is my babies. We spent $1,183.68. Child support for 526, clothes $263.68. The after school was paid $200. The braces was paid for $164, and my son got his haircut for $30. Next category that's up is total spending for reimbursements. So I did tell you hubby then transferred $830 into my account to be able to pay back the reimbursement. All he spent was $818.65. So I made a little bit of money on there to put somewhere else in the budget. The next category that's up is the cars category. We spent $582 and a penny. $335 was used to buy fuel for the car, and we did spend $247 and a penny on car insurance. Now, my budget for car fuel for the month of January was $250, but because we did have a 3 paycheck month, I did have to buy gas. When I got paid on the 31st of January, I just went ahead and bought gas because I was low, but it could have been a February expense. It's just that I swiped the card in January. The next category up is personal. Now, as personal, I spent $112.91. $100.62 was for self care, and $12.29 for spend how I want. Next one up is gifts and giving. $95.66 was spent in this category. Holiday giving, $86.47. Barber tips, $5, and Friendsgiving for $4.19. My next category is health and wellness. $85.62 was spent, $50 for copay. Over the counter was $28.39, and prescription, we only spent $7.23. Subscriptions is up next. So my Capital One annual fee was charged in the month of January for $39. And this was a sinking fund. So it goes to show that it doesn't show it as an inflow because it's already in the budget. I paid $39 for this. Amazon Prime was an unexpected expense that came against my account, $16.28. iCloud storage, $9.99. SiriusXM is $7.99. HP Inc., we spent $5.96. And Google Cloud came in at $2.16. The last one that's up is savings. So I ended up spending $68.42 out of our savings for travel. So we did go away at the end of October into early November. We went to Canada as a family, and we ended up renting a car from Budget Car Rental. Now, this bill they sent me in the month of January because we did go on the toll road a few times, and they did tell me that they will do a calculation and then bill me for the amount that was spent in toll. Well, this hit the account in January, $68.42. There was nothing that I could do about it, but I did categorize it on the travel. So as far as percentages go for the month of January, home came in at 39%. That came in at 24% as of what's shown in YNAB. Food at 11%, my babies at 10%, miscellaneous at 7, cars at 5, and everything else, personal, gifts and giving, health and wellness, subscriptions and savings, what was spent from the saving came in under 1%. So the biggest expense that we had in January was our rent for $2,500. The food was the category that we spent in the most with 30 transactions, and our average daily spending was $375.43. Now, what I do want to show you guys is we're going to jump back over to income versus expenses, and I'm going to show you that at the end of the day, I had a net income of $6,048.27. This is the money that was not used in the month of January. This money rolled over in the month of February. So if you were here for the last paycheck budget of January, you will see that I ended up using that money to fund the first 2 weeks of February, and it's still going because I'm recording this video on the 8th. and that money is still being used because we don't get paid again until Friday the 14th. That is where our next pay period is starting. So, what I can say that I'm very proud of for the month of January, you guys, was that we ended the month with a net income of $6,048.27. We are well in the green in the month of January. This is a good start to 2025, and I'm hoping to continue this trend moving forward. So, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you for taking the time out to watch. We did pretty good, even though we were over budget in a few of the areas. We were able to cover every spending and also end the month in the green. So thank you so much for taking the time out to watch. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. It's a pretty interesting journey. We are coming from afar, you guys, coming from afar, and we have made major strides to get where we are right now. So I appreciate you guys, but until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.